Why is this a Michelin-starred restaurant? I suppose it's because we care. And everything that we do in this restaurant has a purpose. Every guest comes to this restaurant and a memory is formed. So that involvement process between kitchen, sommelier, front of house in one restaurant is what it's all about. The Frog is fundamentally about sustainable British luxury that takes inspiration from all over London. It's about showcasing the best of British. And I think that real dedication of the team that helped me create this vision, trying to make it better and better and better, is so beautiful to see. I wouldn't be anywhere without my team.
So everyone, our next guest is one of the UK's most dynamic chef entrepreneurs. Adam Handling MBE is the Michelin-starred chef owner of the Adam Handling Collection, a group of restaurants, pubs and bars, really known for their bold creativity, love of British produce, and a commitment to sustainability. From the Frog and the Chocolate Shop and Eve Bar in Covent Garden to Lock and Tyne in Windsor, to the Tartan Fox and the Ugly Butterfly in Cornwall, Adam's built a reputation for creating quite unforgettable dining experiences, but at the same time championing innovation, waste reduction, and I think a new model for modern hospitality, which we're going to talk about. Please, everyone, welcome and join me in welcoming Adam Handling. Thanks for joining us today, Adam. It's a great pleasure to welcome you to our virtual stage.
Thanks for having me.
Just a note to everyone joining the summit today, if you're joining as a Trend Hub subscriber, you can discover more about the topics covered in this discussion in our 26-27 food and drink trends predictions, particularly in the cuisine and ingredients predictions pack, but also in the broader trends framework under comfort rules, meat and poultry, humble veg, waste not, and resource wise. So I think without further ado, Adam, if we can, we'll jump in. And I wanted to start, if I could, your career has moved at extraordinary pace from MasterChef professionals, Michelin-starred restaurant, now leading a collection that spans, as we've already in the introduction, pubs and fine dining and bars and chocolate. When you reflect on that journey, what do you think have been some of the kind of key moments in that journey, some of the key decisions that you've had to make?
Well, I've been doing it 21 years.
Right.
The 27th of December was my chef anniversary, is what my team call it, which is really quite sweet. So I've been in the game a while, but since having my restaurant group about 10 years, which I don't necessarily think is running too quick in comparison to what we've achieved. I would say the successful part, so the part of when I am a restaurateur rather than the chef side, is because I surround myself with people that are better at my job than I am. Yeah. And I think that's very important to nurture. In my entire senior team that runs all of my restaurants, they worked for me before I had a restaurant group.
Okay.
Like Jamie, the chef, the group chef who looks after Cornwall and that, he's been with me for 12 years. Stephen, who looks after Lock and Tyne, he's been with me for 19 years. Yeah. So when I say with me, he may have not necessarily been inside of my own personal restaurant, but wherever I worked, he always followed, which is really quite adorable. The head chef of the Frog, Cleverson, he's been before that restaurant was even opened as well. We've never had to hire a senior chef. Apart from one, which was Tartan Fox, actually, but it was a formidable character who's that chef. Started off as Sue, then worked his way up. But I feel the only way people will grow in hospitality is if they surround themselves with passionate people, for sure. This is a passionate industry, but also ones that are like-minded. They want the same goals as you do, because then there's no fighting. It's honesty about how to achieve something. So you have to have people believe in you. You have to inspire people. So I run on 3 simple words: inspiration, motivation, education.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what the position is, if it's operations, if it's chef, front of house, som, bar, anything. And I got 300 odd staff in the group. So that constant need to keep pushing them 3 things means that you have a very stable and well-educated team to make you survive.
Yeah, okay. Why, I suppose, do you believe in that approach, and I suppose how do you balance sort of nurturing loyalty and culture, but with the commercial pressures of running venues, I guess.
Two very different questions there. Business is always needing to be looked at in a more logical way rather than emotional way.
Yeah.
Running teams is a very emotional way. You'd like to say it's logical, but when emotion kicks into play, sometimes logic kind of gets a little bit um, squinted, perhaps.
Yeah.
But if you surround yourself with professional people, financial side of life kind of carries it through with you. You're honest, and I think the honesty about running groups, so sharing targets, sharing P&Ls,
Yeah.
results as well as forthcomings,
Yeah.
everything that as a business, share with people rather than hiding everything.
Yeah.
We made profit, we've made a loss. This payroll is this percent, needs to be down to here. All you're honest about everything, because at the end of the day, businesses that hide that sort of information, what are they doing?
Yeah.
What's their incentive? They think that what people are going to question. I don't understand it. So for me, the honesty of an open book, to
Yeah.
be, and I say open book, I'm not going to say the kitchen porter is going to come to my office and look through my P&Ls, but I'm on about the every person in a managerial position should understand every single line in the P&L that they're supposed to be looking after. That's the most important part.
And I guess those are the guys who are going to affect the change. If you want to influence the key lines in the P&L, those are the people that are going to affect the change, right?
Of course, of course. And I only really step in and make drastic changes when there's a danger of something happening, a loss-making month, for example.
Yeah.
It costs me a lot of money to turn the lights on in this group. And we need to make sure that I don't mind about the profit, but I need to break even.
Yeah.
But we have two businesses that are in very seasonal operations.
Yeah.
So we forecast, 6 months profit, 6 months loss.
Yeah.
Balance it out at roundabout break even kind of vibes.
Yeah.
But you want to be able to forecast that. So I think being honest about your yearly budget. Good. Any business that says it will never lose money in certain times due to fluctuation of holidays, guests coming in, different cultures and all that jazz, it's just bonkers.
Yeah.
So be honest, forecast the loss.
Well, I'm going to ask you a little bit later on, a little bit about some of the differences of operating down in Cornwall versus down in the southeast a minute. So I'm going to touch on that in a second. But just wanted to, in the introduction there, and this is, it's well written about, it's very evident when anybody reads or comes into contact with, your social media presence, that sustainability and kind of waste is particularly important to you. They can be buzzwords, but I think I always sense when I listen to the staff in your restaurants that it's quite tangible and sort of fighting food waste and choosing, perhaps a biodegradable packaging or whatever it is. What's the biggest sustainability challenge that you've faced, do you think, in making your restaurants work in that way?
I would say the biggest one will be ugly butterflies challenges. The reason why it's called ugly butterfly is there's no such thing as an ugly butterfly. There's no such thing as waste. Waste is either an opportunity or sheer laziness.
Yeah.
So it's that whole vision to try and start a journey based on something that they would normally discard from the menu you're about to have. Trying to change people's minds at the beginning to be like, why am I paying all this money for what would normally be waste? Surely I would get that for free. In hindsight, the majority of it is a byproduct.
Yeah.
I'm still having to do payroll for 50 people to be able to operate and serve and operate. I still need to pay for the crockery. I still need to pay for the pantry ingredients. There are still a cost attached to it. But then moving into the restaurant, moving into the actual menu you're about to have. Well, I've eaten the waste. I've had these ingredients before. I don't want to have them again. But it's a different interpretation of what a byproduct of something would be. The reason why they're only snacks at the beginning, snacks not canapes because we're not French, we're British, is it's the waste on a whole animal. It will be between 15 and 18%. So it's a very small amount, but it's still amount.
Yeah.
So that's what's made into snacks. It's not the whole entire menu you're about to have.
But I guess it's that 15, 18% that makes the difference, I guess, isn't it? So
if you think about it this way, and I do loads and loads of talks to big groups, big corporations in hospitality, And they're all saying the same thing. Inflation has gone up this. We have to raise our prices. No, you don't. Your byproducts of the products you're buying in is on standard between 15 and 18%.
Yeah.
You utilize your byproduct into something. Instead of having to raise it to 17%, you raise it by 5, because obviously 5 will be covering the cost of the staffing and everything like that. But that remaining part, you're just working harder. So the guest doesn't need to suffer. We just need to be smarter in the way that we operate as a business and as a professional chef.
Is there a couple of examples that you could just bring to life around how you will perhaps reuse or add value to a byproduct to turn it into a dish or a product?
Let me say something which is slightly more financially affordable for everyone to make it easier. Whole fish. Whole fish, the most simplest thing in the world. There are 3 different ways people buy fish for restaurants. Portioned. It's all the same. It's exactly the same cost, and therefore there is no waste, and therefore it should be priced accordingly into the menus, which sometimes necessarily is not lower margin because the product price is more expensive. The second one is filleted already, where they're getting they're paying for a weight price of a whole fish plus extra, then having the fillets but having none of the byproduct. Or you get the whole fish, where you're paying for that and no work done to it.
Yeah.
From breaking a fish down, say it's a cod, and you remove the cod from the bone. Okay, it'll take you 10 minutes max to break down a whole fish. So your 10 minutes of someone's hourly salary against the price of what it would cost if it's broken into portions already is considerably cheaper.
Yeah.
So you break that fish down and you have loads. You have the head, which has the cheeks. People pay a fortune for cod cheeks and monkfish cheeks.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to use them straight away because you're not going to be buying in 100 cods in one go. But every time you're getting 5 cods, that's 10 cheeks. Vac them up, put them in the freezer until you have loads, then put them on as a dish. That dish there is free money straight away.
Yeah.
You've got the throats, the tongue of the cod. Again, the exact same thing. Poach them in, salt water them, cure them.
Yeah.
Boil them in milk so that you're like you would smoked haddock.
Yeah.
And that's a mixture of something you can do a croquette, you can do a fish cake with, and that's a collar and a throat. Now, when the collar of the fish, where parts on the bones there, the tongue as well, and people are like, oh, I don't want to be using that sort of thing. You eat cheeks, get over it. You know, like you eat beef tongue, ox tongue, you eat all that sort of, it's the same sort of one. You've got the bones and the head, which you can do multiple things from. If you think about it, Fallow in London, fortune selling barbecued cod's heads of a byproduct.
Thousands of them,
they make thousands, and that then turns into profit of a considerable amount of money. So that's one there. You've got the bones, where you can be making, instead of buying in fish stock at, I don't know how much fish stock costs, but I can imagine it's not cheap if you're buying it in backpack bags. And all you're doing is you're having a mirepoix, your cod bones, some spicing in there, water, bringing it to the boil for 20 minutes, and then letting it just relax, settle, strain it, fish stock. And then one thing I like to do with my fish bones as well is, because you can only have so much fish stock, is I roast them and I treat them like a chicken sauce. So instead of using chicken bones, I do exactly the same with fish bones, and I have this beautiful, intense fish reduction that I then drizzle onto specific fish dishes to really enhance that there. So you've got so many different ones of the most simplest of byproduct, and then you've got the loin, the fillet itself. On the fillet, you've got 3 parts: the tail, the belly, the loin. So therefore, you break that down. The loin you break into your beautiful portions, which you spend a fortune for. Technically, the prime of anything you use whole is free, because you make your money on the waste. So that's how we work it here. When we buy whole cows, the fillet, the ribeyes, the sirloins is our free revenue, because we've made all of our money on the rest of the cow. That's how we work it in our businesses. But then you've got the belly, you've got the tail. So even if you're doing fish and chips, or you're doing little goujons, or you're doing whatever, you can put the two together, the 2 little ones there, put a little mousse in the middle, pull that together, cut it. It's beautiful. There are so much things you can do with such the most simplest of product, and it takes 10 minutes of prep.
It's about looking at it, as you rightly said, it's about looking at it and coming at it from a different perspective, seeing the opportunity there, isn't it? Rather than just going for perhaps speed or convenience or something like that.
But then I do understand how operations say we don't have skilled chefs, so we have to buy this.
Yeah.
Choose not to have skilled chefs. That's why you're doing that.
Yeah.
If you were like, oh, but yeah, then there is a chain where it's the casual dining where they do pump out a lot of food and it's all about perhaps the beverage and food is just there. Then, okay, for sure. There is a purpose to some sort of businesses.
Yeah.
That isn't all businesses. And I hate the excuses. We have to do this because we don't have very skilled chefs.
Yeah.
Hire skilled chefs.
Yeah.
As an employer, as a restaurateur, it's up to you to hire professional chefs or just hire someone to do a job. It's all about personal standards. What
Yeah.
standards do you have as an operator?
Building on that, and you've mentioned this a couple of times already, and we talked about it in introduction, sort of British produce is central to your cooking philosophy. That comes through, loud and clear. But how do you balance that desire to showcase, of course, local ingredients, but with consumer expectations for sort of variety and global flavors?
Easy. Name me one, and I'll tell you.
Okay, crab as an example.
Well, crabs are wonderful. They're surrounded. Cornwall is full of them. We get our crabs caught by a fourth generation fisherman in Cornwall, which is wonderful. I'll go slightly more into detail. For example, soy sauce.
Yeah.
Soy sauce is a wonderful ingredient to really bring umami to dishes. If you're going to add vinegar, soy, and acidity, you've got yourself a ponzu.
Yeah.
So thinly slicing fish and you're dipping it in there. It's delicious. It's wonderful. You can make soy sauce without using soybeans.
Yeah, right.
One beautiful way you can do it is we make all of our own bread with ancient grains. We get ancient grains from Cornwall, and we actually mill the flour daily. So we just get it in huge, I think it's 10 or 15 kilo sacks, and we mill them and we make our bread with that way. So because the bread is made it fresh every day, there is a byproduct of bread left over. Now you can thinly slice the bread, serve it as like croutons or whatever to do, or some of them we thinly slice, we soak in beef fat, we pan fry, and we serve it with our beef tartare. There's lots of different things to do. But when we have that much, we keep it all. It can go stale, it can go dry. We dice it up and we put it in the oven. So we do this once a week, any of the stuff that's left over. And we roast it until it goes very dark. We put it in these big fermenting buckets, same ones that we do beer in. Make beer in, and we do a slushy of water with a touch of sugar and fresh yeast. Mix it all together like a slushy, and we let it sit for a couple of weeks. We then pass it, reduce it down, add some salt, and we have soy sauce, but not using soybeans. So it's that umami-rich wowness of what a soy sauce will taste. It's obviously it's a little bit of work, but we have in Cornwall, which we're very lucky, we have this huge barn where we can store lots of wonderful things in, and we have big storage rooms because sometimes some of the things we ferment doesn't smell the best. So that again, it's about looking at an opportunity to be like, how can I bring flavors of the world, but using British ingredients? We're not 100% British. We say we're 90% British, 10% what we can't do yet. But we want to really showcase the most of things. Like our truffles that we get from Zach in Wiltshire Truffles, and we will buy second-class truffles. We will ferment all the truffles, or we will pickle the truffles. We will blend them down, and that lasts us a bloody long time. We got loads from last year, and we pickled them all down, and we're still using them on the menu. Did you try the tuna dish in Ugly Butterfly?
Yes, I did actually. I had it. Yeah.
So that there is using last year's truffles.
Oh, really?
I understand that specific example of truffles not everyone can afford, but you can do it with plenty of wonderful things. Wild garlic. We have so much wild garlic stalks that we've fermented in super simple. Weigh it, 2% salt. That is all.
Well, they smoked. Was that truffle smoked as well?
No, pickled.
Pickled.
Yeah, just so so they're similar to the way that I was mentioning the three different ingredients. Citrus, the vinegar that we make, and the which is truffle vinegar, and then the other one is the bread soy.
And
three ingredients bring that massive sauce that when you taste it, you're like, and it doesn't need to be just with truffles.
There's another dish actually that, as we were talking about sort of British ingredients and global flavors, I don't know if it's still on, but the crab dish served in a spider crab shell with is it a Thai yellow curry at Tartan Fox?
Yeah. That one, so that one using all ingredients grown in Cornwall.
Yeah.
So we work with a wonderful farmer who starts to grow me my lemons and my citrus.
Yeah.
A few years ago, me and Richard Corrigan had a little bit of a disagreement on Great British Menu about why I wasn't using lemons, and I refused to use lemons because I couldn't get any British ones at that time. And then from there, I was determined to start to use more British things, even more stricter. So we worked with someone, and they grow as our little Cornish Mayan lemons.
Uh-huh.
So using the leaves in an ice cream, because lemon season is a certain amount, we only have I think it's about 6 weeks to really harvest as much lemons as you possibly can, and we have them in every shape or form. You have no idea how many forms of lemons we have. Simplest thing about preservation is freezing. So freezing specific things is good and bad at the same time. With protein, it shreds the meat because water expands, shreds the structure of it. But when it comes to things like lemons, when you squeeze lemon juice and you're freezing fresh lemon juice, it's perfectly fine. So doing stuff like that, and then we also cook after we've squeezed lemons, we boil them in boiling water for 2 hours and then blend it to a puree.
Okay.
So you have this wonderful bitter lemon puree that we use on quite a lot of our things to boost acidity. Just to bring that little thing there, and we call it our lemon condiment, and we plenty of that for the group, because I can talk I have a book, Why Waste, which kind of goes through all of this. So I've got 4 books out, and that particular one, Why Waste, is all about using what we have in the UK, but also trying to make it last for a while too. And I don't say that I'm the guy who created all this at all. I only do what I want to do because I love doing what I'm doing. I'm not saying what I'm doing everyone should be doing in the UK. It's my passion, and what my group's about. But if you did want to know what we do, that book there will tell 1,000 stories into how you utilize what's around us.
Yeah. When I've heard you talk before and read articles and so on, you often talk about dining is about making memories, and it's about memories, not just meals. For you, what does that kind of mean for you in practice?
Well, I feel like everyone's coming out to dinner because there is a memory to be made. Not so much the memory is the dinner, but I mean the fact that if you think about any situation in the world that has impacted you emotionally, apart from childbirth, it's usually involving something to do with F&B. In some way, shape, or form, the memory as a child with your grandparents, it doesn't need to be fancy. It could be a specific scone that you were eating, or her favorite cup of tea that the smell makes you think of her, or something along them lines. Everything involves food or drink. So we are basically the caretakers of a memory that is already meant to be formed, just making it better. And I feel like everyone that comes out to restaurants, they're there for a specific reason. They're not there for, I don't know how to put it politely, but they're not there for shits and giggles. They're there because they want to have an experience. And they're coming with someone they like, because very rarely you go out for dinner if you don't. So the memory would have already been formed with the person you're with. You have to solidify it with something even more special so that it'll always be remembered.
Okay.
That's what my group's about. So it doesn't matter if you're in the Michelin-starred restaurants or you're in our pubs or any of them. The reason why we're a collection and not a restaurant group is because every venue is completely different. It has one string that sets it all together, is the way a guest is made to feel, a specific smell, a specific sound, a specific way that our team speak to the guests. It's all a tone of voice, doesn't matter the standard of restaurant, to make someone feel that they're automatically familiar with inside one of our operations. And the only thing that separates the restaurants is the offering that they're getting.
That's so true as well, actually. I'd never really thought about that. But as you were talking, I was just reflecting back on my experiences in different parts of the collection. And you're right. The offer is different. Clearly, the menus are different, but how you're made to feel is consistent. And it's that little bit of familiarity. It just puts you at ease, and you feel that immediately you're building a relationship with the person that's engaging with you. It's so true. I never thought about it until you said.
See, now the fact that you didn't think about it, but you
Yeah.
felt it means I did my job right.
Yeah, you did your job. Absolutely. We all know this, and you've already referred to this, that hospitality is under immense pressure. We've talked about staff, skills, shortages, rising costs. What are some of the hard choices that you've had to make to keep the business viable? And perhaps what do you think the rest of the industry needs to confront if it's going to survive these, what are pretty tough times?
If I can be honest about this question, it's as simple as changing people's mindsets. If
Okay.
we continue to use the word, what's the problem with hospitality? How are we going to get out of this situation? This
Hmm.
is negative. How
Yeah.
does it change? How do we change it? We
Yeah.
need to force the government to make changes. You stay in that mindset, you'll never move forward. There is nothing we can individually do as as restaurateurs, as people running the industry, that is going to make change. Whether or not we want to scream on the top of every single social media platform that we have, nothing will change. So what you need to do is you need to stop whining and adapt.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very important that if the leader at the top of a pyramid keeps shouting about how negative hospitality is, how the government have to make changes, how the VAT is going to screw us all over, a fish rots from the head.
Yeah. Right.
It trickles down to the team, and it makes them dislike working in hospitality.
Yeah.
So and I have pissed off a lot of more senior people in hospitality of me for saying this. It's yours are the problem.
Yeah.
Stop with the moaning, start with the changing.
Yeah.
We need to be adaptable as entrepreneurs. We need to be adaptable as leaders, and we need to absorb and be the cushions between the problems and our team. We need to be the ones in the middle that will be that will cushion all of them from negativity. So stop saying, "Oh, inflation's gone up." Start using your waste. Stop saying there's not enough staff because of COVID. Train better. Stop saying I can't get guests in because they don't want to spend on fine dining. Adapt your menu. There
Yeah.
is a lot of things that people moan about, blame the world for their problems, but just don't have the bloody balls to
Yeah.
make changes.
Yeah.
The reference balls I know is not the proper one, but you know what I mean.
I hear what you're saying.
And it really just does frustrate me, that question, because I bloody love hospitality.
Yeah.
I can't see myself doing anything else. But do you know why I called the restaurant the Frog?
No, that was my next question. Go on.
It fits perfectly into this question. So the Frog was my first restaurant in London, in East London, in a car park.
Yeah, I remember.
And it was I only had a 6-month lease on the building, where I sold my soul to so many people. Please, can you lend me a kitchen and I'll do whatever you need? Please, can I have a cheaper discount or free plates for 6 months and I'll do whatever you need? I did it to loads of people, excuse me, and a lot of people helped me, which was beautiful. It's the only reason why we were able to do it, because I come from nothing. Then I extended the building. The reason I only had 6 months, because they were getting planning permission to redo the whole building. It fell through, so we extended it for another year and a half. But the reason why I called it the Frog is I don't believe anyone can fail. You can't fail at life, at a relationship, at business. You can't fail. The only way you do is if two things happen. One, you give up.
Mm-hmm.
Second, you don't adapt.
Yeah.
Frogs have the ability to be in water, jump over obstacles when they come out of water, come back in, and if it smacks its little paws and go, you know what, I've had a hard day, I'm done, it
Yeah.
drowns.
Yeah.
So it's that positive message of sink or swim.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
because I was going to be opening my first restaurant in London, I knew I could not fail, because if you fail in London once,
Yeah.
it's going to take you a long time to bounce back, if anything.
Yeah.
So it was a positive metaphor to never give up, always adapt, always keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I called it the Frog, always keep swimming.
Yeah. Okay.
For my love of French people, or the color green, or me loving frog legs, or anything that I've heard so many people have thoughts about why I called it the Frog, but it was just a pure, beautiful message to always keep swimming, always adapt, always move forward.
Yeah. Okay.
The Frog.
Wayne and I actually went to the original Frog in the car park. Was there like a mural or something on the front of the pass?
Yeah. Of a tattooed frog on
Yeah, that's right.
Africa. I've got the tattoo actually on my arm. Yeah, Japanese, not a Japanese, an African red-eyed tree frog, so the poisonous one. A couple of weeks into opening that restaurant, the London Reptile Centre for the zoo, they wanted to do some stuff with me, so they brought these African tree frogs, the same ones, but not the red-eyed ones, the ones that are poisonous, the normal ones.
Yeah.
And they were like, "We want to film some things of you doing with these frogs," and I'm like, I barely like any people, let alone animals. So, especially these little alien, creepy crawly sort of things. But I thought, yeah, let's do it. So I filmed with these little frogs climbing up my arm, and then one touched my neck. I freaked out, and it just jumped. And then in the first video of the frog, when I did the promo one, it was the frog on my shoulder touching my neck and then jumping away.
Well, while we're talking about names, you explained the frog and the ugly butterfly. What about Lock and Tyne, or the Lock and the Tyne, and Tartan Fox?
So the Lock and the Tyne was created for Stephen. So again, 19 years he's been with me. He is one of the most nicest, best chefs, humble legends in the industry. And I love him more than anyone in the world. His passion for the group, his passion for and love for our vision, because he was my number two.
Yeah.
Years. He'd always been my sous chef. He's phenomenal. And whenever you see him, he's always got the biggest smile on his face.
Okay.
He's a lot older than I. He's 10 years older than me, but he's got the biggest smile on his face. He's on a section every single day.
Yeah.
The guy loves the group.
Yeah.
When we had lockdown, I was the only time in my career where I had a little bit of a wobble because I didn't know how to react. I'm a very controlled person. You know, I like we do everything internal in my group because I like to see what's going on. I like to be able to be very reactive if an issue ever approaches. When lockdown came in, it wasn't. It was the first time I was out. I had no control over a situation, and I did not know what the results were going to be, and nothing was forecasted. So it was very, very horrible for me. Stephen was one of the people, along with Nicola, that suggested we do some home delivery sort of things.
Yeah.
Just his constant positivity and his constant love. Anyway, we worked day in, day out to create something wonderful. And then we did our home delivery service, which was great. It kept me up every single night doing it, but it was worth it because we managed to bring a lot of revenue into the group to help pay for a lot of our debt, because we were accumulating debt left, right, and center going into lockdown, but also left us with a little bit of profit come the end of it. And because he'd always wanted a pub group, and pubs were never part of our plan, we saw this place that just became available, and I said to Nicola, my number two, said we need to check out this place because I think we can give it to Stephen.
Yeah.
We found it, fell in love with it. Stephen knew nothing about this property at this point in time either. And we created a logo and we created a name. Me and Nicola did it because we do all of this. We do all of our names and logos in-house. And the reason why we called it the Lock and the Tyne was I met him when I was the chef of the Malmaison in Newcastle.
Right.
And then we went to Scotland, and I'm Scottish, so Lock. And this is the first time in his career where he's not working beside me.
Yeah. Okay.
We made a little story to be that if we stick to water, we'll always find each other again.
Yeah, nice.
The water where I met him, the Tyne, River Tyne, and a loch where I'm in Scotland, and we made that beautiful L being the lock, and then the T on the little chain hanging off of it. So you stick to water, and we'll always find each other again.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
What about Tartan Fox then?
So Tartan Fox was really was the only time I've kept some identity of what the building was beforehand. Redeveloping the building. It's a 400-year-old building, 51 years younger than the Taj Mahal. Love that fact because we don't appreciate how old our architecture is in this country.
No, you're right.
So it's built on a couple of acres, and we were redeveloping the whole place because it was painted black inside. And we broke down these fake walls to bring it back to stone. And we saw this mural on the wall that was painted in, I have no idea when, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it was called Fox's Revenge.
Okay.
And I thought, I like the name Fox, but I need to find some more meaning of it. And I think I love the history of what this building used to be.
Yeah.
And then we've done some research. And do you know what a group of foxes are called?
No.
An earth.
Oh, right. Okay. No, I didn't know that.
And for us, Earth is all about what we're trying to
Yeah,
do.
of course.
We're
Yeah.
trying to play with the Earth. So we were like, let's play with this one. So we called it the Tartan Fox. So the Tartan Earth. For the fact is the history of the name
Yeah.
of the building. Tartan because I'm Scottish, but
Yeah.
also that's where we started to build our farms. So our farms are there. We have our chickens there. So we have 49 chickens. We have all where we grow everything. We have three different separations of farmland that we have on the land. One for wildflowers, one
Mhm.
for all of our more perishables, one for all of our bigger things, like our pumpkins and our peas and
Yeah.
all that jazz. So we're eating from the earth as much as possible. A group of foxes called the Earth. Tartan because I'm Scottish, and a little bit of history of the building.
Love it.
Loved it.
Love it. Love it. Um, you're operating in sort of both ends of the geographical spectrum, London, fine dining, Cornwall, gastropubs, everything in between. How different are these experiences for you as a chef and entrepreneur?
All different. They're all the buildings are all they're all emotional. You connect with the location first, and then an offering comes afterwards. So for me, they're all about what would I like to experience in certain places. When I go down to Cornwall, I'm on holiday. So I would like to be by the sea, so Ugly Butterfly, and I'll eat there a couple of times. When the weather's not so good, because we are in the UK, I want to be in the middle of a forest
Yeah.
surrounded by pine cones and wood fires and eat big sharing plates
Yeah.
with Tartan Fox.
Yeah.
I'm in the city and I want to blow my mind. The Frog.
Yeah.
Lochentines are a country house estate, so bedrooms on the top floor,
Yeah.
so you can sleep over there. White picket fences all outside. Every tree is edible, every bush is edible, every plant is edible. Our gardens are there as well. That's a place where I can have the best steak ever, or I
Yeah.
can have a whole grilled lobster, or I can have the classics like mother or cheese donuts and
Yeah.
chicken butter. So it's about, yeah, all built quite selfishly. What would I want to
Yeah.
experience?
What would I want?
Because if you really build it for yourself, I'm a normal person.
Yeah.
You'd kind of like to think that a lot of people would like the same things I do.
Yeah.
Make it for you, everyone else will follow.
Yeah.
Try and make it for somebody else and it's not for you, no
Yeah.
one will follow.
Yeah. No, I get that. Ugly Butterfly 1 and 2, relaunched relatively recently, or the beginning of the summer at the Headland. I hope you don't mind me asking, but what happened there, if I can
Yeah,
ask?
well, beautiful. I loved Ugly Butterfly. I loved Ugly Butterfly, the first one. The landlord handed in his break clause, and we used that as an opportunity to find somewhere else because you can either take one door closing and dwell on it, or you
Yeah.
can open up the other door that you've never had before and create something even better. And we learned everything that we didn't quite do well in the first one,
Yeah.
and we went to town on it on the second. And I suppose if you're going to call it Ugly Butterfly 2.0, it has to be a hell of a lot better than the first one, or there is no point giving it its next chapter. So me and the team, we had 36 staff from Carbis Bay area, St Ives, move or travel to Newquay. It's 45 minutes away.
Yeah, right.
In the middle of Cornwall. It's like
Yeah.
56 miles a day back and forth. That's a lot. And the team loved the operation so much that they were like, let's do it. Logically, it would have been it's much better to leave now, be in a much better place that has much better connections to sustainability and our group, and use it as an opportunity to grow.
When I ate at Ugly Butterfly 2, all the things that we've talked about, how the guest experience is, and there's that continuity there. But one of the things that really stood out for me, and I think you've since put a tasting menu on, was the fact it was a 4-4-4. The fact that you could kind of curate your own experience, as well as having, there were some set elements, some of the snacks and so on in between. But what made you, switch it out and do something different there?
I wanted to make it even more of a if you're in Cornwall on holiday, come here more than once.
Yeah, okay.
I wanted it to be like you curate your own menu. If you want to have that full experience what Ugly Butterfly had, you can have it. But if you want 2-3 courses and you just want a bit and you want to come back 5 days in a row and have something
Yeah.
different, you can do just that. And then therefore we created harder for us to operate
Yeah, definitely.
in the kitchen, but it's way more rewarding for us to serve it. and see the same guests come back the next day,
Yeah.
or the next day, or even 2 days later. We ate in this place, but we wanted to come back and see you guys.
Yeah.
That whole connection with the guests. So cook for people to how they want to eat. We've added a tasting menu now as well, so
Yeah.
you can still do that, or you can have the full proper shabam experience. And we found that people are coming for the sets, loving it, then coming back for the big one.
Yeah.
So it's really beautiful as well.
Challenge for you as an operation, though, I guess, as well, running both. Is it?
Yeah. It's you're adding obviously with the frog, it's only one menu, so we have a lot of staff for that one menu, and it's detailed, it's precision, it's perfect. There's no shadow of a doubt. Ugly Butterfly will like the same accolades as Frog. This year, it's wonderful. If it doesn't, we work harder and use it as an opportunity, fire under our belly to grow and grow and grow. But the great thing is, this restaurant's more successful financially than the first Ugly Butterfly. For me, it's a better offering. It's more refined, it's more in tuned, it's more connected to what Frog is. Even if we don't get a star this year, I'm happy it's doing much better than the last one. And that gives us fire under our bellies to just refine. We need to be better today than we were yesterday in every aspect of our business.
What a location as well. I mean, they're both amazing locations, but yeah, there's something quite breathtaking about being at the end of Fistral Beach and looking over that vista. And the sunsets. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the best thing about that restaurant, I think. The first one didn't have. It's sunset.
Yeah.
When we were refurbing that property, we were obviously working from dusk till dawn, and we painted the color. We had it painted a different color. Watching the sunset, and then the sun, because we had no curtains up at this point. The sun changed the whole room, and I'm like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then I was like, change it to this color, and some of the staff were like, you can't do that. Some of them, I was like, I can. Other ones were like, we do it now, and it mirrors the sunset so beautifully. Every single thing that we do is for a specific purpose.
No, it's very special. You've mentioned a couple of dishes, and I want to sort of talk a little bit about creating iconic dishes and dishes that guests like to remember. And for me, there are things like the chicken butter, like the nitro tiramisu, the hash browns, the black pudding bonbons. What, in your view, are those sort of essential components to? I don't know if you would agree that they're icons. I think they're icons. But what are the essential ingredients that go into making those for you?
Let's talk about, did you try the lobster and caviar?
Yes.
That for me, I can eat every single day. Every single day. And because it's such high luxury ingredients, we only put on the menu at cost price. So it's a £20, I think it's £20 supplement, which is pretty much cost price on that dish. But aging lobster in beef fat, cooking it on the barbecue, and then dressing it in our beef fat, we basically do a kimchi flavor with the lobster head and shells, all of that real lobstery flavor through the beef fat. So when we barbecue the lobster, we catch the smoked fat, chip with loads of caviar, and just dress the whole plate. And you're like, if this isn't indulgent on a plate, I don't know what the hell is. This is mind-blowing. And guests look at it thinking, how much is this? Only £20. It's mental. And then when they eat it, for me, that there is the pinnacle of what my group's all about. Massive flavors, ultra luxury, but I say affordable for the ingredients that are getting used. It's expensive. But then you go down to the other end of the scale, where Mother is there. Mother's been on my menu for, I want to say, like 12 years. And it has never changed at all, because I think it's just a really well-rounded, incredible use of that humble ingredient celeriac. Created for my mother on my very first restaurant opening as a kind of an embarrassing story, because she told me she was vegetarian on her way down to London for my first restaurant opening, and I didn't have a vegetarian dish on the menu that I was showcasing. So I did that as a kind of tongue-in-cheek dig at mum, for trying to make my life hard, and it became the tastiest dish on the menu. I think it's because a lot of people connected with the story as well.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it was a wonderful dish created for one purpose. I don't believe in balanced dishes. You cannot have a balanced dish every single time, or your brain will switch off.
Yeah, okay.
So you have five taste sensations. I only use two or three max in a dish, and on the next tasting menu, I'll do two or three of the opposite.
Yeah,
Every
okay.
dish that you taste, it's different on your palate, it's different on
Yeah,
your brain. This whole rubbish about every dish has to be balanced. If you're doing one, for sure.
yeah,
In two, a little bit of difference. But if you're having a whole tasting menu of the exact same five, 10 taste sensations in every single dish, your mind is bored.
yeah.
Tongue is bored. I'm having, oh yeah, same bit of acidity, same little sweetness, same little bitterness, blah, blah, blah. I'm bored. So the mother was the only one that contained all five taste sensations in one dish because I only gave her the one. I gave everyone else the 10. And so that dish is really huge and really impactful on your mouth, but with such humble, humble, humble ingredients.
It seems like as well as all the the flavor bit going on in pretty much everything that you've talked about, there's some kind of emotional connection. There's a little bit of storytelling within there as well. I wonder if that is all part of creating an iconic dish.
Of course, it needs to mean something to the chef
Yeah,
first and foremost.
yeah,
Um, and that story that we've all been in a situation where a mum is embarrassed
yeah.
their
Right.
kid at one point in their life,
Yeah,
or made their lives a little bit more difficult for no reason at all, but just to be a mum. People connect with that, and like the chicken butter was created for my sister. Sunday roast left over on a Monday, where you would just eat that a Scottish bread roast or the really soft ones. Loads of butter, leftover chicken, and you'd eat it as that sandwich on a Monday morning. That there is the flavor of that roast chicken in a butter.
yeah.
That was served with bread to remember that same flavor. So
What's
yeah,
lovely as well is that your team know these stories as well and impart them a really kind of genuine way as well. That kind of comes through as almost as if you're telling the story, which is so engaging.
yeah, because a lot of them connect the same way.
Yeah,
We've all had that Monday
yeah,
morning.
yeah,
Or if you're American, they would have turkey after Thanksgiving, and
yeah,
that's what it would be. We have such a plethora of wonderful nationalities that work in our group. You'll always have a connection of that similar story based at home.
yeah,
Might not be the Sunday roast, but it would have been something like that.
yeah,
So it's really easy for the team to reinterpret the my feelings and stories into how I created something, but also not make it robotic. Like, and this is from this chef done this, blah blah. They have personality and they can explain it in their ways that they have
yeah.
particularly associated to this dish themselves.
No, that definitely absolutely comes through. Look, I've got a couple more questions for you. I feel like I could talk to you all morning. Look, this year has been a big one. You've closed and opened a restaurant, opened a luxury chocolate shop. How do you decide which projects to pursue? Is it instinct, opportunity, strategy? And how do you make sure that each one feels like it's part of the collection and not just another venue?
We try and stick to a procedure of we will do this year, we will do that year. But realistically, passion, logic, and emotion, they're three very dangerous things. Sometimes when I get my teeth into a potential passion project,
Yeah,
logic goes out the window. So that's why I need to be well rounded by people around me, my exec director, my restaurant director, chef director, all of them sort of ones that can be like, it can happen, but it needs time. Also, Nicola is the one. But I'm like, I need it all now. But that's because I get extremely passionate about things.
yeah.
What's happening next? Next year is going to be the biggest for our group yet.
Okay. And you're not going to say any more, I suppose, are you?
I've got too many daggers eyes everywhere.
Well, we'll definitely watch that very closely. But you've talked about accolades. How important are accolades, and what do they do for an establishment? What role do they play in the mix?
So, say a Michelin star, for example. It is really wonderful that a Michelin star comes to a restaurant which has my name associated to it. By no means do I think I am the only reason that restaurant got a star.
Mm.
Not a chance in hell. The reason why that restaurant got a star is the wonderful people in it that are consistently working better each day, every single day.
Yeah.
That's why that restaurant gets a star.
Yeah.
So not because of me. And for me, the award of getting that is that recognition to all the people that are working 7 in the morning till midnight,
Yeah.
5 days a week, slogging hard, you know, where emotion comes into play, where sometimes it gets sad and sometimes it gets stressful and busy and a mistake happens. And that is recognition for them.
Yeah.
We're quite fortunate that within all of our restaurants and bars and pubs, they're all awarded.
Yeah.
You know, the National Restaurant Awards, the 2 restaurants are in them.
Yeah.
We're one of the very few restaurant groups that have got multiple restaurants in the top 50.
Yeah.
The pub, the top 50 gastropubs,
Yeah.
Lock and Tyne,
Yeah.
most sustainable gastropub, number 23 or 17 or something like that this year. You know, it's great. The Eve Bar, first pinnacle, 60 stars given 60 pins given last week in the world, not just the UK, the world. Eve Bar got one of them. This is wonderful for me to look at the collection as a whole and think, I am so bloody proud. I have to tell you, it's not because of me. I push my vision and I allow people to showcase their own personality and be creative.
Yeah.
But I also give them the tools to be able to do all of this. But it is them. They are the reason why we have the awards. I pay a small factor into it. I give them the operation. I taste everything, by the way, and every drink, every plate of food, every single thing's tasted before a guest gets to experience it. Yeah, apart from Lock and Tyne. Lock and Tyne get to add on their ones because Stephen has basically morphed into me in terms of palate wise. The guy's genius. But everyone else, it goes through a little testing process of tasting. And I also, and this is one thing which I think is very important, a lot of places don't do. Every palate matters.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're a commie or you're someone polishing glasses or you're the sommelier, every palate matters.
Yeah.
So when we taste our dishes, they go through 3 different tastings.
Okay.
I'm always the first one, but before me, it's always internal. Then it's me, and then it's the som, then it's the front of house, then it's the team as well. So the idea for this is, and everyone can taste it privately. No one's sitting on the table discussing it. I do not want to discuss it because when you start to discuss with someone in a more senior position, your opinion changes into theirs. Which is not personal. So we do this way. One from a beverage perspective, because they taste things in a different way to chefs.
Yeah.
Front of house, because they're going to be explaining it and they know what they're tasting to, and chefs as well. And then from there, we bring our opinions together. We taste together afterwards. And not every opinion is correct. So whether a guest has complained about something being X, Y, and Z, or one of the songs say this needs this, that, the opinion isn't set in stone. The opinion isn't correct all the time. The opinion is an opinion. And you can take that to learn from it. You can agree with it, or you can be like, no, actually, I think I just need to explain the messaging perhaps a touch more. And then a dish is formed, a drink is formed. You go from there.
Look, I've got one final question. I'm going to ask you to look to the future for you, for the collection, for the wider industry. What, I suppose, is your hope? If you look forward for the next decade, what's your hope for how British dining evolves? And if you could make one change to secure its future, what would it be?
My dream is to have British food on that main stage. Like I want to go I want to go to an Italian restaurant. I want to go to a Spanish restaurant. I want to go to a Japanese restaurant. I want Britain to be beside them. I want to go to a British restaurant. That's my dream. I'm quite fortunate. I'm an MBE from the King. I got honoured from the King for what I'm doing about Britain 2 years ago. I want to pioneer Britain. I work on the great campaign for Food is Great around the world. I want the world to see how wonderful the products we're using here and how we're doing it. And the most exciting part for me is it has no rule book. You know, it has no rule book, so you can create such wonderful things that people don't know how that's supposed to be. If you're having croquetas in a Spanish restaurant, you kind of know what they're going to be like. Britain's an open book, so using the plethora of what I personally think is some of the best products in the world, and cooking them in a way where it's you cooking them ingredients to create your own personalities on plates. It's magical. So for me, it's more exciting to eat in a British restaurant now. So you're having different products than going to an Italian or a Spanish restaurant, where you're having the same product done in pretty much the same way consistently because it has a history book, which is delicious, but it's not exciting anymore. British food is going to be that next one. I feel it in my bones.
Look, Adam, a massive thank you from us all here at the Food People 2025 Summit audience for sharing your experience, but I think your personal anecdotes with our audiences today. Thoroughly inspired. I'm sure everyone listening today is a massive thank you for joining us today. It's been a great pleasure to you.
My pleasure. Again, I usually don't look like this, but I have just done a 10K run and then I jumped straight onto this one. So I usually am dressed a little bit more professional than this, but
well, I'm sure everyone will concur that having done a 10K run, apart from a little glow in the cheeks, looking great. Thanks, Adam.
Amazing. Thank you.